How's it going, everyone? ND Sean 45 here. Yes, I am back for a second consecutive evening, and as a matter of fact, this video right now is the second project that I've done today. I just got done doing a live stream with a gentleman by the name of Duran Slater. Now, Duran is the founder and CEO of a website called YeshuasPatriots.com. He's a Christian, an activist, a little bit of everything. I've been following his work for the past year or so, give or take, and I've actually featured one of his videos here on this channel, or at least a video clip that he was involved in. But let me tell you guys something. It's one thing to follow somebody's work, but to actually get to talk to them and really interact with them is something completely different. Duran Slater, hands down, is one of the nicest and the smartest people that I've ever had the privilege of talking to. This live stream, we went for 2 hours talking about several different things. And let me tell you guys something. This was a very powerful discussion, and we discuss a variety of different topics, including current events. So when that live stream uploads here on this channel, you guys are definitely going to want to check it out because it's some really good stuff. And Duran is a very smart guy, and I'm proud to officially call him a friend now. So make sure you guys check that out. The 2 hours is worth it. But anyway, getting on to what I wanted to talk about here in this video. Obviously, last night, the video that I did talking about giving my thoughts on the Chauvin verdict didn't sit well with some people. And you know what? That's okay. I expected it. I'm telling everybody right now, I stand by everything that I said in that video last night. Everything. You know, of course, there's going to be some people who, like I said, don't know how to research. And also, speaking of which, if you don't like something that I say, don't bother telling me that you're going to unsubscribe from my channel. All right? I really don't care. Just unsubscribe and shut up. All right, Mr. Matt Moore? I don't care. I'm not going to lose sleep because you're not subscribed to me. So don't try to... What, do you think I'm actually going to beg you to come back? No. As far as I'm concerned, don't let the door hit you on the way out. But anyway, to anybody who disagreed with what I had to say last night, I mean, I get it. People think that I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I don't have a clue. I'm a dumbass. I'm a moron. Well, take a look at this.
Candace Owens is the host of Candace. We're happy to have her on tonight to assess what we're watching now. Candace Owens, you'd think in a country like ours, very top, I mean, this is the most first world country that's ever been. You'd think the most civilized and the most just. Here you have to consider a murder case through the lens of politics. When you get to that point, haven't you already given up civilization?
Well, that's correct. And what we're really seeing is mob justice, and that's really what happened with this entire trial. This was not a trial about George Floyd or Derek Chauvin. This was a trial about whether the media was powerful enough to create a simulation and decide upon a narrative absent any facts. Whether it was powerful enough to repeat showing and talking about a 9-minute clip that came from somebody's cell phone without adding any context, without showing the full, the full police video, which they could have released. They refused to release the full body cam, which would have added more clarity to the fact that the media was lying. The media came out, let's not forget this, Tucker. The media came out and told us that this was a man who was just getting his life together. He was a good member of society, and he got mixed up because a racist white police officer had it out for him and killed him. All of that fell apart. All of the facts came out, and all of that fell apart. We now know, of course, that he had enough fentanyl in him. It was 3 times the lethal dosage, 3 times lethal dosage in him when he died. But nobody cares because the media was successful in putting out a narrative, and they kept hitting that narrative. And the reason why the Democrats are happy is because they realize, of course, the media supports them, and now means the Democrats can get whatever they want because they can create a narrative, and then they can treat people like pawns and get them to basically say, if we don't get what we want, we will riot, we will loot, we will send these people out like soldiers to destroy your neighborhoods. And that is exactly what has happened. That has been the determination of this trial. The media and the Democrats now have enough power to bully and to lie to and to create propaganda and to successfully win. And that is what happened, and they are celebrating that win today. This was not a fair trial.
Only one side.
No person can say this was a fair trial.
You just got to take 3 steps back and acknowledge that only one side behaves this way. I mean, a jury in 1995 concluded that O.J. Simpson, despite DNA evidence, hadn't murdered 2 people, and there were no riots. But more to the point, there are a lot of people sitting behind, Trump voters sitting behind bars right now, have been for months, charged effectively with trespassing. We're not speculating. We've seen the charges. No Republican in the Congress stands up for them. Nobody mentions that. Nobody, is for prison reform when it's their political enemies. That's not equal justice, but nobody says it. Why is that?
Because we have 2 pandemics going on right now. There's a pandemic of ignorance in this country, and that is only allowed to fly because we also have a pandemic of cowardice in this country, okay? So we have people that are purposefully putting out a bunch of ignorant claims, and then we have people that are too cowardly to stand up and say, you know what, this is wrong. There has been so much that has been going on in this country that is wrong. You talk about it, I talk about it, but we do not have people that are sitting in Congress that are willing to take this fight where it needs to be taken. By the way, you bring up Maxine Waters inciting violence. I'm so old, Tucker, that I remember when a man said march peacefully and patriotically to the Capitol, and that was considered an incite to violence, right? That was like, oh my God, stop the press, get this person disappeared from social media because he is calling for violence. Look at what Maxine Waters says. No one in the media is condemning these remarks. That same media that condemned Trump and his supporters for weeks on end is now defending Maxine Waters. And we both know this is not the first time that Maxine Waters has incited violence. Don't forget, rush down. If you see a Trump supporter, you got to rush them down in the restaurants. They're allowed to do this. They play by a different set of rules, but it's because we allow them to play with that different set of rules. They get away with virtually everything because we don't have strong people on our side that are willing to stand up. And that it's a sad conclusion. It really is so frustrating. And the idea of martyring George Floyd, the way Nancy Pelosi spoke about him, it completely forgives all of the trauma that he brought against his victims while he was alive. A man that served 7+ stints in prison while he was alive, armed robbery being 2 of the reasons why, and now we're going to martyr him and say that your name will forever be synonymous with justice. Imagine, Tucker, if you are one of his victims that is alive, one of his victims that he armed robbed, and you have to hear that this man's name will always be synonymous with justice. How would that feel to you? I feel like we are living in fiction right now in America. We are losing this country and we are living in fiction because people are not strong enough to call out this stuff. And I feel like I'm one of the only ones who has the courage to say I will not be mobbed into a different reality.
This is why they try and pull you off the internet, because you're not afraid. I just got to ask you, it's frustrating, of course, to watch what you and I have been talking about, where one side ferociously defends its power, the other side abandons its voters to jail. I wonder, though, is there a point where just ordinary people can say, I'm not in control of politics, but you're not allowed to block my street with a protest or intimidate me on my front lawn or break into my store and steal stuff. Like, I'm going to defend my family. I'm going to defend my business. You don't have a right to do that. There's no justification for riots anymore, and I'm just not going to put up with it.
No.
Will we get to that point, do you think?
No, we're not going to. That's why they're already moving the ball. They're already moving it. They're moving the goalpost already because they're saying right now that that's not enough. That wasn't justice, by the way, because what they're saying is what they want is a perpetual revolution. It's why they want people to be ignorant. It's why they want people in the education system to learn nothing but race and how to be angry. They want people acting like toddlers, because when people are ignorant, they act like toddlers. They whine, they complain, they cry because they are absent facts. They are absent knowledge. So we are actually seeing a systemic oppression that is taking place that is rotten. It is throughout the propaganda that's taking place in the mainstream media, and it is working with the education institutions, teaching critical race theory and all of this nonsense to make sure that we are mass producing failures that are angry and that are violent and that are willing to riot and loot on behalf of the Democrats, because that's all they want right now are pawns in their nefarious scheme to take over this country.
It's going to make people radical, unfortunately. That's a shame. Candace Owens, it is great to see you tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Candace Owens. Not only is she a beautiful woman, she has brains. So she literally just stated everything that I said last night in my video. Maybe to a different degree, but she said it. So does she not have any credibility now? She gets it. And it's unbelievable that some of you guys don't. And the only ones that I'm truly getting aggressive with and calling out are the people like Matt Moore that showed up. TK, you're all right. You at least were open to some dialogue. So that's not really aimed towards you. But there you have it. Candace Owens. And I saw that video after I did the video that I made last night. So don't think that I just am copying off of that. No, I literally saw that video later in the evening after I made the video that I did last night. So there you have it, people. Candace Owens saying the same things that I did last night. So if you have a problem with me, then you have a problem with her too. And she is far more educated than I am. So love to hear the responses and the comments that I get on that one. So on that, good night, take care, God bless.